Good afternoon. My name is Joanna Huckabee, and I had the pleasure of knowing the Jenkins family during their time in Tenaha. I've thought a lot about what I could possibly say about Brandy in just a few minutes, and the truth is, as you've heard, there's no way to fit a person like Brandy or a friendship like ours in just a few moments. But I was lucky enough to know Brandy in the everyday moments of life, and that's who I want to share with you today. Brandy was one of the fastest friends that I've ever made. She was infectious. Her smile, her goofy, silly personality, and her hugs, they were the best. She loved hard. If Brandy was in your corner, you never had to wonder if she had your back. She did, always. We taught right across the hall from each other, although I'm pretty sure she took more naps in my classroom than my kids did. We loved Mexican food and good margaritas, like any good Texas girl should. And if you knew her, you knew she probably had on a Kendra Scott necklace, because I'm pretty certain she has every one that was ever made. She did love to shop, but what she loved more was shopping for other people that she cared for. Her love language was gifts. She would plan for months. She remembered something that you mentioned in passing and tucked it away until she found just the perfect thing to show you how much she cared for you. And looking back, I realize how much that said about Brandy. She paid attention to people. She wanted you to feel seen and known. She wanted you to know that you mattered. That's how Brandy loved. And nowhere was that love more obvious than with Jeremy and the boys. She lived for her boys and their activities. She rearranged life and moved mountains to give them every opportunity to chase their dreams. But her enormous heart extended far beyond her family. If someone needed help, she found a way. She helped with fundraisers, made sure families had Christmas, and quietly took care of people without ever needing any recognition. Through different schools, different towns, and different communities across Texas, I can't help but believe that the Lord definitely had a hand in the journey that he led them on. Jeremy's work in athletics and Brandy's calling as a teacher, a coach, gave them the opportunity to touch lives of so many young people and their families. And everywhere they went, they left a piece of themselves behind. They poured into students and athletes. They built friendships that lasted long after they moved away. They loved people, served their communities, and made wherever they were feel just a little bit more like home. Maybe all those moves that once simply felt like the next chapter were also giving them the opportunity to leave those pieces of their love and influence all across the state. And maybe God knew how many people needed a Brandy and a Jeremy in their lives. But there's a little irony in this for me, because what you might not know about Brandy and myself is that we desperately tried to have green thumbs. We wanted to have beautiful plants. We bought the plants, we bought all the things you needed to grow the plants, but we never could get home before they probably had died. So we would take out the dead plants all of the time. But, as I said, we had the best intentions. And as it turns out, now that I reflect, she spent her entire life planting things. She planted kindness, she planted laughter, faith, friendship, she planted love. She planted pieces of herself in her students, in her friends, and in the families she quietly cared for, in every community she called home, and most of all in her boys. And today, when I look at the number of people whose lives are different just simply because Brandy and Jeremy passed through them, I realize they grew something after all. Maybe we just weren't trying to grow the right things. For the rest of my life, there will be moments when something happens and my first thought will be Brandy. I'll want her opinion about something I definitely don't need to buy. I'll want to tell her something crazy that my kids did. Or sometimes I'll just really need my friend. Brandy, thank you for being my friend. Thank you for loving my family. Thank you for the laughter and the hugs and all the ordinary days that I didn't know would become some of my most precious memories. Because I know now there was nothing ordinary about getting to spend them with her. I love you, and I love you guys.